What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a street tune of James's new TL Type S. You guys probably saw his other TL that he used to have, but unfortunately that one got totaled, so luckily he got to upgrade to this Type S. Pretty sick, looks really good on the waffles. So he had pretty much a full bolt-on TL. Right now he's getting his manifold ported, the J37 manifold, J37 throttle body. So right now he's just running a full exhaust. He's got the pre-cad deletes down there, going to a full 3-inch K-tune muffler, vibrant resonator. And then you got the DC cold air intake. That's pretty much it. We're just kind of gonna get a base map going and see how she's running on Hondata right now, because it's on the off-the-shelf tune. So we're gonna clean that up a little bit, put some custom settings on it and see how she does. All right, guys, the ignition map on this Hondata base map is all over the place, so we're gonna tighten that up and make it look a little bit nicer. How we're doing this is we found our best timing values for the low RPM and the high RPM, and what we did, we highlighted here, interpolated vertically here, that way it's a gradual progression. We did it on the wide open throttle column, and then now we're interpolating horizontally between these. So what that does is it straightens out the ignition map. That way it's a lot more gradual. For instance, like I'm showing you guys, you drag across here, right click, interpolate horizontally, and we're getting there. We're getting there for all the different RPMs right now. We're going up piece by piece. We're done smoothing out the ignition map. The Hondata base map had a ton of timing here on the low RPMs, and then they compensate by adding a crazy knock control on there to dampen your throttle. So what we did is we pretty much took off the knock control, and we're running a lot less timing right now, just that way we don't have any knock. It's a lot better for the car. You'll get a lot better throttle response in first gear, so that's why we chose to do that. So I'm not really familiar with how the fuel map should look on these 3.5s. So right now we're gonna trust the base map on these fuel numbers. That doesn't look too crazy for a fuel map, so what we're gonna do, we're just gonna do a couple data logs and see exactly how everything looks. That might be a little bit too much, we're not sure. He did notice it's a little bit more lean now that he put on that intake, so the ignition map is straightened out, so that looks nice and smooth. And then once we get a data log and see what the AFRs are at wide open throttle and half throttle and all that, then we're gonna adjust this fuel map accordingly. The VTEC point here on the stock, or on the Hondata base map, is 4850. We're gonna drop that down, get a little more torque out of it. We're gonna start at 4250 and see how that treats us. All right, we're uploading the base map right now. It's flashing it on the car, so we're gonna do some data logs and see how it pulls. All right, guys, I wasn't recording, but we just did our first pull. The AFR, we were between 12.9, it went down towards 12.5-ish at redline. It did dip down to 11 something on the gear change. We're gonna work that out here and see what we can do with the fuel map to get that right. But that pulled really good. What do you think, James?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that felt really good. We're gonna check it out again. I'm gonna record for this next pull here. All right, we're about to hit the on ramp, so we're gonna get this data log going again. Spiking to like 11 or so on the gear change, so we got to figure that out here. Might have to do with the fact that we're dumping fuel for the burble tune. I'm assuming so. Are you lifting off the throttle?
A little bit.
All right, next time just don't lift off the throttle between shifts so we can get a good reading. But that felt really good too. We need to get some more room here. We got to find a different entrance ramp. All right, so looking at that data log there, between like 48 and 5800, the AFRs were not on target. They were low 13s. Pretty much on this graph here, when you're looking through your data log here and you scroll through the different RPMs, so let's say we're looking at 4800 RPM right there. On the map, it shows you what values from this table. It shows you right there, and then it shows you over here what values you're pulling. So pretty much these were way down here because it kind of spiked down a little bit on the base map for some reason. Pretty much I just kind of bumped up everything from 4800 to 5800 just to kind of smooth it out and get a nice nice better power band here. We added more fuel by dragging these little squares up. You can do them individually, but it really wants more fuel from that 4800 to 5800 spot there. We're going again. We're just doing another data log since we changed the fuel numbers there. I changed it on the high, not the low. We're pulling from the low right now because we're not at high RPMs or in VTEC or anything. But we'll showcase the burble tune too a little bit that we did on here. James is actually getting pretty good with tuning himself, so he's confident enough to where he can just put on maps on his car and not feel like he's gonna blow some shit up, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Guys, that was a really good pull. We were at about 12.7, 12.5 that whole run, which is perfect, exactly where you want it. 12.5 is actually really best for NA cars. Boosted cars require something in the high 11s, mid 11s, maybe even 11.0. Not sure. I've never really tuned a boosted car, but either way, NA 12.5 is what you want to go for. So this is going to be our third revision so far. So we're going to see how it pulls. What do you think, James?
It's pulling pretty good now. Can't wait to see what it's going to do next.
You think it's faster than it was on the Hondata base map already?
Definitely. A lot faster.
But we're about to find out here. We should have done some 40 to 100 and timed it, really. Yeah. We still have the base map, but I don't really want to go back to that after looking at this.
For real.
Yeah. Either way, we're going to check it out here in a sec. I'll record the next pull for you guys. All right, get it down to second. Down to 40. And go. That was a great pull. We're gonna do one more just for data logging purposes, and then I'll probably make him one final revision and then send him on his way. Great street tune sesh, but we're about to go for another one on this entrance ramp. Alright guys, so I just made some more changes. We're done with the tune now. That was a pretty solid street tune. I can put it on virtual dyno and see what it makes. It's not very accurate, but accurate enough. Anyways, so this is the fuel map. This is what it looks like here. A lot more gradual, looks a lot better now. That's fuel low. This is fuel high, still a little jagged. I could probably bump up a couple areas here, but the car had to add fuel on the short-term fuel trim. It was about 7%, so we know that we can add a little bit more fuel because that's really what the car wants. It's okay to have it dip down and kind of lean out a little bit right at the VTEC crossover point because you don't want to be too rich at that. So that's why I have it kind of dipping down a little bit here, and then it continues on. Definitely a lot smoother there. And then for the ignition map, low looks kind of crazy because we have the burble tune on there, but high, nice and smooth. Everything's pretty much even. So that's just how you do a base map on a street tune. It took us about an hour and 10 minutes to do that, so nothing crazy. So I did a base map, did about 3 or 4 revisions, and we're done here. So eventually he's probably going to go on the dyno. What do you think she'll make, James?
I'm hoping to make about 300.
300, I think it's doable. Once we get that ported intake on there, yeah, do a retune, get on the dyno. Yeah, I think 300 is definitely doable. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you did like this, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. We got more content coming. Hope you guys have a good one. Thanks for tuning in.